Okay, so hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Ricky's Reviews, where today we're going to finally finish up with the Scream franchise by covering Scream 5, Scream 2022, whatever you want to call it. Now you may be wondering, wait, where's the review for Scream 6? Now I already did a review for Scream 6 a few years back, and that one should be in a Ricky's Reviews playlist on my channel, so you can just go and watch that one before Scream 7 comes out this Friday. But today we're just going to cover Scream 5, Scream 2022, whatever you want to call it. Now, this movie was directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette of Radio Silence. Now, you may have seen them direct or work on Ready or Not with Samara Weaving. That one was a really strange horror movie, and I may one day get around to covering that one. And they also made Scream 6. Now, you may be wondering, why didn't Wes Craven direct this one? Well, this movie came out right after I guess a few years after his passing. So, they were kind of like the passing of the torch with the Scream franchise, which I think is pretty symbolic in a director's standpoint, because this movie as well is kind of like a passing on of the torch to a new generation of characters that are going to be surviving and being killers in a Ghostface attack. Now, this movie does have legacy characters in it, like Gail, Dewey, Sidney, and Officer Judy from Scream 4, but it mostly focuses on the new cast that is led by Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, who play the Carpenter sisters in this movie. Now, for plot-wise, Sam, who is played by Melissa Barrera, is out on her own living the adult life when her sister, Jenna Ortega, Tara, gets attacked by Ghostface, and then she has to come back to Woodsboro to tend to her sister and her group of friends who are all Ghostface suspects, and that somehow gets the legacy characters entangled, and it becomes a whole plot. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for plot of this movie, because I do want you to go and watch it for yourself. Now, this movie is on Prime Video as well as YouTube TV. But yeah, let's get into likes and dislikes for the film. Okay, so to start it off for likes, I will say I like how this movie did a pretty decent job of balancing the new generation of the cast and the legacy characters. Because in this movie, it mostly follows the new cast with the Carpenter sisters and the other characters that are in Tara and Sam's friend group, but it also does splice in the legacy characters of Gail, Dewey, and Sidney, and Officer Judy momentarily, because if you've seen the movie, you know, and I'll get into spoilers here. She bites it, and her son kind of bite the big one pretty early in this movie, but they still have stuff to do, and the other legacy characters, and they just balance the movie pretty well with following the two generations of cast without making it feel too bloated. Like, that's something that they can do in horror movies, especially requels, because this was definitely the year 2022, and just the early 2020s was the year where we got a lot of requels. Like, we had the new Halloween movie that came out around this time, this one, and a bunch of other ones that kind of just bloated the story too much because they didn't know how to focus on both the legacy cast and the new cast. But this movie does that pretty well, and it balances it very nicely. Another thing I liked about this one was how it follows the formula of a Scream movie, but it doesn't do it to like a direct T. Like, it does definitely do some interesting things that were new. And that kind of does segue into my favorite scene of the movie, which is the opening scene. Which, spoilers, instead of the usual Ghostface victim in the opening scene getting killed, Jenna Ortega's character, who is the victim, actually survives this, and she goes on to make it through the rest of the movie and Scream 6. Which was something interesting that I didn't think that they would do, because I know Scream movies, they've always been very down to earth and follow a formula. Hell, it's memed a lot in those sorts of movies and other slashers, but they did something different with this one, and I give them props for that. Another thing that I liked about this was how they did have the guts to kill off legacy characters. As I said, Officer Judy and her son bite it pretty quickly, and spoilers, Dewey dies about halfway through the movie, segueing into the third act. And this was definitely something that I had a problem with in Scream 4, because they kept all of the legacy characters alive, did not kill any of them, and at least Scream 2 had the guts to kill off Randy, which I still don't like that, but at least they did something with that one. And in this one, they at least do give the, I guess, motion to kill a legacy character, and they don't make it feel like such a throwaway death, that they actually add some impact and some weight to it. But yeah, those are the things that I liked about the film. Now I will get into my dislikes and some general grievances with the movie. Okay, so to start it off for dislikes and just grievances. Now, I don't have a lot. I generally don't try to be a negative person, but there were just some things about this movie that I didn't really appreciate, like the hospital scene. Now, I don't mean Dewey's death, I mean the scene before it where Tara's getting chased in the hospital. Why in the world are you in a public hospital and there are no lights, there are no people, And I could excuse the fact of there being no staff or no lights if you had seen Ghostface like take out the lights, or you maybe saw some background bodies. But in that scene, you only see the one cop in the hospital that's dead, and then you see no one else, no nurses, no doctors, nothing. Why was the hospital so empty? And you have patients in there, because obviously Tara was in there, but there was like no one else in the hospital, and it just felt so like strange. Like I think they were just kind of worried about stepping out there and trying a Ghostface attack in like public with like a lot of people around. Obviously they do that in Scream 4, but I think just this movie, that was just like the whole reason they just didn't want to try that idea. But still, it just felt so kind of to me. And then the whole thing about them being in Stu Macher's house for the finale, honestly, for me, kind of felt a little shoehorned in there. Like, they're like, oh, there's a thing there, and they're having a party, and oh, of course, that's just a way to get the legacy characters back there. And it was a little cheap, but I guess it did serve as a way to set up the finale, and it did give a pretty good backing for the finale with them getting chased through the Stu Macher house with, you know, callback to Scream 1, and I think they're revisiting that in Scream 7 as well, and we'll have to see what that brings. But yeah, that was my dislikes with the movie. Other than that, I really did enjoy this movie. I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. It is a good passing of the torch for the Scream franchise, and it is overall a good whodunit slasher. But yeah, that is my review for Scream 2022. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.